people are going to sit around and go, gosh, I can remember listening to Greg and silver was at $60 an ounce.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome once again to the Silver Linings broadcast, hosted by the Gold Ore Store of St. George, Utah. And goldorestore.com is our actual address. We're excited to be here today, and we're going to talk about some interesting aspects of the silver market today.
Where are we at today?
Well,
By the way, I'm Melody. And this is Greg.
Yep.
For those of you who might just be tuning in who've never seen us before.
Yes, this is true. I'm about a 22-year veteran of the precious metals market. Been doing this for quite a while. We have a store on Main Street, downtown St. George, Utah. And it's a pretty special store. It's not just about precious metals, but it is our primary business. If you go online, particularly if you do a Google search, you'll find the Gold Ore Store, and you'll get some kind of an idea of who we are and what we're all about. We've been doing this here locally for about 15 years. Like I said, we have a location right on Main Street, downtown St. George, Utah, which is the southern portion of Utah. For those of you watching that may not know, our temperatures lately have been, it is August 4, but our temperatures lately have been between about 102 and 110.
12. Got up to 112.
Yeah, which is just insane.
It's hovering around 9 and 10, 109,
We'd love to see the silver market actually match what it is in temperature every day. And that's something we're going to talk about today a little bit, just kind of a little monologue between my wife and I today regarding that. Any initial questions, Mel?
Well, I do want to, if you haven't heard us before, you might not realize we're not financial advisors. Mm-hmm. This is for entertainment purposes only. We keep a really close eye on what's going on in the market, and we do the best to educate our customers and our clients on what's going on in the market, and this is our personal opinion. So if it resonates, great. If it doesn't, just keep scrolling. And we just love to chat. We have a passion for gold and silver. We own 6 gold mines in Oregon, Utah, silver mines in Utah,
right.
Which is why we're the Gold Ore Store, because we actually sell our gold ore in our store.
Yeah, a lot of people actually wonder where we came up with this name, Gold Ore Store. Well, in the early days, about 20 years ago, we actually purchased some silver gold mine. They're old mines that were shut down during
they're not operational, war. But you can go in with a pick and shovel and they're load mines.
We haven't done much with any of them for quite some time, but initially we'd take the ore out of it, literally cut it out of the walls of this is a load mine, by the way, which a load mine is an underground mine. It's got tunneling, through it, and different than an alluvial or placer mine, which is basically riverbeds and things of that nature. So load mining is, in a lot of ways, more intense and a lot more difficult when it comes to an individual actually doing the work. But anyway, we were taking the material out of it, and we started selling it on eBay. And that's where it came up with
the gun show.
Yeah, we initially took it to a gun show back when we started all this, and back then we actually didn't even really have enough money to even pay for the fees for the show.
The table, yeah.
Actually, it was not a gun show; it was a gem show.
Oh,
and
okay.
It was in Salt Lake City. But anyway,
it's kind of a hobby of ours.
That's how we all got started in this whole crazy business, and we never really left it. Back in the day, I was a general contractor, and we did disaster restoration work. And I was doing this on the side, and we got going in it and just loved it. I've never stopped enjoying, particularly silver. We are gold dealers as well, but silver's been our primary backbone of the business. Anyway, when I was thinking about we kind of were going through what we'd like to talk about today. When I say the word silver, Melody, what's the first thing that pops into your mind?
Oh,
lately is what
I think about the tarnished silver plates and the spoons and forks and the jewelry,
tea sets, grandparents,
the tarnished rings and the coins in the Folgers can.
Yep. And maybe some beat up old coins in a coffee can kind of thing.
The coins in the the dirty ones.
And so, what two words would you use basically to, state your feeling about where, what most people think about silver? What do you think? I mean, especially with the way the market has been going lately.
I think people are frustrated because silver just kind of sits at a level. It goes up and it goes down, but it doesn't really move much.
No.
Except for this year.
Yeah.
This year the ups and the downs have been really sporadic, and it just seems to be sitting kind of. It's boring.
Okay.
It's boring.
So
you buy it and you want it to go up and up and up, and you're watching it every day, and then it goes down $5, and then it goes up 50 cents. And then,
right.
Yeah.
We're kind of. You have a good point there. We're kind of back to that during the early 2000s. We were in this block of space where we would get excited when we saw 50 cents increase, in one day. And that's about all we were making, as a premium back in the day. It was, 25 to 50 cents. And we were, excited about that. Things haven't changed much.
But in the tech market, you'd see these huge spikes in the market, the stock market.
Yeah, you mean the actual
silver
paper
just
market.
Seems to be kind of this sleeper, that it creeps up, and it's been going up for 100 years.
The market makes it look disrespected, and it feels disrespected, particularly to a lot of people who, during those days of the $20 silver, where you could buy, an ounce of silver for, between $22 and $25, and that went on for a very long time. I mean, we're talking about a 10-year span, almost a decade of dealing with that. Unless you were selling other items, being a precious metal dealer and particularly involved in silver was not exciting unless you could buy it at a very deep discount. From whomever you were getting it from, and then of course, if you're selling it at spot, which we've been able to do many times in our history in this business, that's about the only time you'd really make any money.
Yeah, but when you talk about it, and you talk about paper and the paper trades. Silver's the 47th element in the periodic table, right? So you can't print it.
Which is interesting.
You can't fake it. I mean, it's minted, and we're in a 6-year deficit. For the last 6 years, we've used more silver than we've been able to produce.
That's exactly right.
And so this is putting silver in a whole different envelope than paper trades, because what happens when they can't get any more? I mean, I know they've been looking.
Yeah, I mean, it is an element. Number 47, which is interesting because we have the 47th president of the United States in office right now. I find that intriguing. So 47 seems to be a unique number right now in the world in so many ways. But underlying all of that is this amazing metal that's the finest electrical conductivity of any metal on the planet today. And it doesn't seem to get the kind of blow up and excitement about that gold does. And in reality, it really should, because you can't build a single AI, center or, these all the hype is going down right now about all the different counties around the country, for that matter, including here in Utah, where they're wanting to build the data centers. And, you need enormous amounts of silver
and
to build
copper
these.
too.
Both of those metals are
one of the
huge.
metals that they don't talk too much about. But,
No.
but I just don't know where they're going to get it. I
Well-
mean, where are they going to get the silver
Yeah.
if they're not mining it?
The thing is that silver, and I want the people, the listeners, those that are watching this right now to really tune in right now, because silver is not a primarily mined metal. Okay, when
It's what, a secondary?
it's secondary, thirds, fourths. It comes after the copper. They go after copper. Whatever silver they get, it's a secondary metal.
Okay.
Zinc.
Okay.
Nickel. All of these other, primary base metals that we use in this world, and all of those, by the way, are also used in the tech industry, but not to the level as far as the conductivity aspect of it is concerned. Silver is number one in the world. A lot of people don't realize how valuable silver is to the rest of the world. It's the most important metal there is when it comes to
so we
the
know that
computer
we're
industry.
consuming more silver than we're producing.
Right.
So where's the silver coming from when they cash in these big, huge tranches? Where's it coming from?
Well, in that case, you're also discussing what is not even really real, because they're not. So generally, the market is based on a paper contract. It's not based on physical
I know,
transactions.
but there's 760 million ounces of silver that have been
Yes.
have been drained out of the
Right.
global inventory
It-
since 2021.
The problem
so
is,
where are they getting
it's
it?
not recoverable. So the way they're getting it, or any kind of mining for that matter, because there's only a few places in the world that they actually primarily mine silver in a mine. So in other words, in Peru and in Mexico, which are two of the primary areas in the world, Central and South America, where this product is being actually mined primarily in these mines. But there's always other metals in every single mine.
I know, but
So-
where's the silver going to come from?
Well,
and
that's
it's kind of like,
that's the big
why
question.
isn't this breaking news? Why isn't everybody talking about this?
It's because
Well, 'cause
they're
aren't-
too busy trading indices, Apple Computer and all the other major, they're looking at making, quote, money, unquote, in massive tranches.
Yeah, but if you
And
have
so-
760 million ounces that have been drained out of our stockpiles
Right.
since 2021,
Right.
and they aren't producing, do you have any idea how much they're producing on a monthly basis?
It's not even close to the demand as far as what's actually
How
demanded.
can they possibly sell silver at $60 an ounce?
That's a great question, Mel. It's
So when I go on the internet and
Mm-hmm.
I pull up the price of silver, can they even produce it for that? I
No.
mean,
I mean,
how much
I-
is diesel?
Well,
What is going
right
on?
now? The industry is loving life as far as where silver is at, because yes, the cost of mining has gone up dramatically, but it hasn't gotten to that level that it's costing $60 to produce an ounce of silver. The real issue is the fact that the silver itself is not available to mine at the levels, or to actually have produced into whatever's needed, which is mostly anything related to the computer industry at some level. Solar, the EV industry is consuming massive amounts. Samsung alone could easily take over 200 million ounces a year, and we're producing less than a billion. And so, how's that? How are you going to have one company alone that could take literally 1/4 of a billion ounces, without any problem right now?
So that's really the key right there as to why silver's the sleeper investment.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
it's
because it's blowing the lid off of
yeah.
the value. I mean,
Yeah, it's an incredible metal that is so pushed down as far as, like, right now, for instance, the last I would say probably ever since January, since they pushed it down from $121.35, which was the highest amount that we've ever seen historically in the value of silver based on new economies. Let's put it that way. Not based anciently, because it always had tremendous value. Silver, by the way, has had value for over 5,000 years, at least 5,000
Well,
years.
you know what keeps. I remember when we went to a business meeting in Las Vegas, and this kid was telling us about Bitcoin. We didn't know anything about Bitcoin at the time, and it was trading at $350. And he says, "You got to get some." And we thought, "Oh my gosh, $350!
Right.
I can't afford that.
I know.
I can't afford $350 for something that is in the air."
Yeah, that was about 2013 when that all went down.
Yeah,
on our
I think
behalf.
people are going to sit around and go, "Gosh, I can remember listening to Greg, and silver was at $60 an ounce. I just can't afford $60 an ounce." And they're going to go,
"Yeah,
what?
It's true.
It's $1,000 an ounce."
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, we don't
in our lifetime.
Yeah,
it's got to go up there.
It really will. It will go up there, and it'll probably happen before the end of this year, most likely.
So, do you think they'll ever be able to counterfeit it, or you know how they're counterfeiting our meat? They're, the lab-grown meat.
Yeah.
Can they lab-grow silver?
That almost makes me want to throw up even thinking about this protein product that's done on a printer.
And they don't even tell you.
It's printed food. It's literally printed food.
Well, no, don't they take cells and grow it?
Well, it's still printed. It's like it's like a copy of the real thing.
Do you think they can create silver? They can print silver?
Well,
that would make the investment just tank.
Well, it's rather interesting because through the years and through the centuries, there's been people that, of course, claimed that they could actually make gold. From
Midas touch,
right, from the elements, and so I guess silver at some level should be able to be producible at the same level if that's legitimate and
So we've been talking about the industrial monster. So Greg, break this down for us. Why is the world suddenly consuming silver like a monster?
Everything.
What changed? I mean,
so silver,
it hasn't always been like this.
Well, yes, it actually has, but they've been. That's why they've pushed down silver. I mean, in 1964, they put the blockade on silver and coinage, basically. So 65, all of a sudden they take the silver basically out of our money. Which, so silver is
even
real
copper,
money. So
they were talking about copper being, silver is an antimicrobial.
Right.
And so is copper.
Yes.
They took copper out of all of our pipes because it was purifying the water, and they were trying to put chemicals in the water to poison us.
Right.
Conspiracy, but anyway.
Well, yeah, you can put that in quotation marks somewhere.
Yeah. So give me some concrete examples where all our silver is actually going. You talked about it a little bit.
Yeah. So in solar energy, there's a paste that they make out of the silver, and that paste has been increased in what they call N-type solar units, panels for that matter. And they require even more and more and more. And by the way, the solar energy industry has been increasing by more than 5%, I believe, over the last 10 years, every year. So, I mean, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and the technology gets better and better. So the amount of, they've created panels now that actually work with gray skies, where you don't need that intense light. So and so really what's happening here is that silver is becoming more and more efficient at whatever it's being asked to do. Conduct electricity is really what it comes down to. You conduct heat, you can conduct energy. And this is a green energy kind of revolution that's actually happening. And you can't do the green energy. The left is all about green energy, right? You have people like AOC sitting in Congress bitching and moaning about, we need to remove the petroleums from our entire industry, while her and whatever else person that's on the left are wearing glasses that were made
and they're
from
concerned
from
about
the same plastics that actually are,
and they're concerned about the farting cows. So we've got to lab grow our meat.
Exactly. So artificial intelligence, the AI industry, the microchips,
electrical vehicles, defense.
High-speed
what about
semiconductors.
The military?
Oh, that's a whole nother world in itself. And yes, they absolutely need those missiles that they're using that are costing over $1 million a piece. And by the way, they've already shot off over 6,000 of these missiles, to my
it's like,
information.
Where's that money coming from?
Well,
I mean, why couldn't we spend that money on the people in farming and oh gosh,
it's very upsetting and with everything the way it's going. But when you're trying to bring a people back to some level of a republic, a true republic where the people are actually in charge, you're dealing with
that they've got to be aware of the shortage of the silver. Why aren't they just digging more holes and finding more silver?
It's because it's just so difficult to that's the problem with the issue with silver, is that it's just absolutely fabulous metal that is very difficult to find, is really what it comes down to. It's secondary, third, fourth, behind whatever else they're mining in general around the entire world. Mm-hmm. And so there's just not as much of it as they would like to let you believe.
But they could raise the price because of supply and demand and then just dig more holes. That doesn't make any sense to me.
You can't just go out and dig more holes, because it takes anywhere from 7 to 10 years to actually develop a mine before you can actually really start actually producing.
It's kind of the fatal flaw, isn't it?
It's crazy, because we're talking about a metal that is way more rare than they want you to believe. Okay? It is much, much more rare than they want you to believe. You ever notice that they're not talking about the rarity of gold all that much? And, there are some places that you can go to that literally they have streets that do nothing but sell gold products.
Yeah.
Like in Dubai and in areas
Qatar.
in the Middle East. I mean, we're talking about just the untold amounts of gold.
Right.
Billions of dollars alone just in these stores, these storefronts.
Why can't they use gold in all of this technology?
The cost is prohibitive.
But who sets the price?
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah, exactly.
If you brought gold down to the price of what silver is right now, guess what we'd be using? But even still, it doesn't have the conductivity and abilities that silver does. It's a totally elementally made up different metal.
Yeah.
Much more dense, much more soft. Can't be used in the same kind of environments where it just wouldn't hold up.
Yeah.
I
guess they couldn't substitute it for copper either.
Copper doesn't work either. It doesn't have the two positive isotopes that silver has, and no other metal has that. It's really quite an incredible metal as far as the world is concerned, and the needs just continues to rise, and the amount of material just continues to decline.
Yeah,
this is a real problem in our world. And for that matter, I mean, it seems like they're able to get untold amounts of copper, but I haven't seen the price of copper going down. It's
creeping up too.
I mean, you can't build most of the gold products in the world without copper and silver, because they're used as an amalgam to break down the carat weights. Both of those metals are used to break down the metal. You want 14 karat gold? Guess what you got to use? Copper and silver to break down the gold, to get it to that level. You want 10 karat gold, you're using a higher amount of both of those metals in order to do that. So, to get it down to 58% or 750, which is 18 karat. All of these metals are incredibly important to the precious metals industry.
Okay, so let's talk about the paper market. You mentioned earlier that the price traded on Wall Street doesn't reflect the physical reality. Mm-hmm. So, why is that? Why is paper different than the physical metal? Because don't you pay the same price for the paper as you do the physical metal?
Well, the paper they're able to pay spot because it's fake.
Okay.
It doesn't actually. It doesn't. In most cases, it does not actually show itself as being relative to a true ounce of silver.
So the paper represents, because they say the spot price of silver,
mm-hmm.
but the spot price of silver doesn't really represent the true value
No, it doesn't.
to the paper.
But you can buy an ounce of paper silver at spot all day long. Mm-hmm. Now, whether or not you can buy an ounce of physical silver at that rate depends on the deal that they're brokering and how they're doing it. But in most cases, unless you're buying incredibly large amounts of precious metal, both gold and silver, you're not going to be able to buy it under spot.
So do you think the paper contracts are affecting the physical
No doubt about
value of silver?
No doubt about it.
And
this has been
why is that?
This is why we went from we were $121 and I believe 35 cents.
And that was driven. Why was that driven up and then crashed back down?
Because of this massive demand, but also there was so much paper that was needing to move because basically they were all underwater. Remember, they bought this stuff at whatever level it was, and then all of a sudden they can sell it at this huge amount, right?
So you've got all these people that saw an opportunity mm-hmm. because they saw it just going up and up and up. Just craziness.
It was absolutely
and
nuts
they jumped in at $112 an ounce, mm-hmm. $115 an ounce.
Well,
and they're
the only people that were able to jump in at the
down.
No, look, this was only a very few. These were traders in New York and Chicago and all the major.
No, people bought physical silver out of our store at those prices.
Very few of them were able to get that. Why?
But that's
because we had so little available.
So when you pull your savings to buy a physical metal mm-hmm. on a situation where I don't know what that perfect storm was and why I'm sure the bankers were against it, driving it up and up and up and up and up, because on this flip side of that, mm-hmm. people were seeing an opportunity of being able to cash out on an investment that they made 10, 15 years ago that they'd been sitting on. So they sold that physical metal. That physical metal went back into the queue, mm-hmm. and then they were able to crash that back down and pull that physical metal out of the system, which is so criminal.
Except that most of the smaller deals, unless they went to wholesalers and the wholesalers moved it never got back into the system. Meaning, it's only very large,
I understand
mostly
that,
COMEX related.
Those paper trades that they cashed in, they pulled that silver mm-hmm. back out of, it's kind of like, why are they being allowed to do that? Because that is stealing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, I think people listening to this are going to go, ooh, shoot, I don't want to invest in silver mm-hmm. if that's how they play the game, because I can't afford to lose that kind of buying power from mm-hmm. my hard-earned life savings.
People have got to let go of this belief system that the amount of currency notes that you trade for a commodity, which is silver, which is actually something that's mined, produced, and minted out of the earth, as opposed to a piece of paper that is, printed on, poplar pulp, and some cotton. that's not money. And that's the difference between the two. One is truly money and always has been money for thousands of years. The other one is a fraud. It's nothing more than currency that's literally paid. It is not money. It never was money. Yes, we use it to do transactions, and I always get nasty feedback from those of you out there that just want to tell me, hey, well, then take it down to your local grocery store and see what you get for it. Yeah, that may be the case right now, and I, to be honest, don't know that we'll ever be trading, physical silver, because, to be quite honest with you, the value of it is so substantially higher than, even at $60, than what a note is in true value, and its buying power has been going down for decades.
Well, if you see all of the red flags in the silver market with what they're doing, with the game that they're playing, there's going to come a time, in my personal opinion, that the only silver that's available is what you hold in your possession.
It could very well be the case.
And that includes the 401k,
if that's the
precious
case,
metals that are being stored at different places. And Roslyn Capital is a huge example of a storage facility that went belly up, and $60 million of people's life savings disappeared.
This is something that we've been chiming on for as long as we've been in the industry, is that there are some good companies out there that I would never malign as far as what they do. Most of them are actually dealers in precious metal at some level, so they sell the physical product, but they also, many of them also have these incredibly secure, in their words, environments where folks can actually store it. And there are some circumstances, we don't want to malign everyone that decides to make the choice to actually put their precious metals in storage, because there are just some circumstances where it makes perfect sense. But for the vast majority of it, we're going to stick to, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. And this is going to be a mantra that we're going to live with for our entire lives.
We're starting to see, and a lot of the economists are talking about the situation of hyperinflation. We've seen it in several countries, Venezuela, just where their dollar lost its buying power. Yeah. And the thing that just gives me peace of mind at night, even if, even with the volatility of the market, most of us just, if we have $100, we get $100 at a time. We nickel and dime it over a long period of time, knowing that it's not an investment that you're going to flip. This is not a flipping investment. Right. This is a long-term. You're in it to win it. You're in it for the long haul. Yeah. And you're buying high and you're buying low, but that high and that low standard is consistently doing
it's called dollar cost averaging, and we've been touting this behavior all along.
But it's not affected by inflation.
Right. So exactly.
So a 1964 quarter, which is 90% silver, what is it valued at today?
Well, you're
what's it going to cost you?
You're somewhere around $10 as
10
far
to
as
15.
Yeah, I mean, it's really high.
Okay,
when you think about it.
So if you think about that, there was a time when you could get a couple of gallons of gas for a quarter. Oh, yeah. Well, you still can. Yeah. If you have a 1964 quarter, you can still get a couple of gallons of gas. Right. Now, think about that. For 50 cents, you could get a couple of gallons of gas. Right. So silver is a insurance policy against inflation.
It really is.
It holds it, and gold too, because gold. What's a $10 gold piece worth today?
A $10 gold piece would be, somewhere around, let's see, you're basically half a gold, so to over $2,000.
Over $2,000 of buying power,
which
for
is called
a
an
$10,
eagle. That's an eagle.
A $10 coin.
Yeah.
And back in the day, nobody had a $10 coin.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because its value, buying power, was over $2,000 today.
Right.
You know, so precious metals, whether it's gold or silver, whether it's fractional or bars or ounces or coins, it protects your buying power.
Yeah, I mean, in 1930s and 40s, if you had a $20 gold piece, you can buy a class suit, you know, made in the best, houses of New York, as far as that was concerned. And, you know, today it's going to be, you know, in that $4,000 range. That's generally considered a pretty high-end suit, you know, for somebody's wears one every single day. Spending $4,000 for a suit, for a man's suit. That's
here in Utah. We're really insulated from a lot of what's going on in the world. As far as the banking, the banks failing, like what was it? There were 5 banks that went belly up in the millions of dollars over there in San Jose, California.
Oh yeah, the Signature Bank and
so gold and silver isn't a get rich quick kind of a thing. It's a long term.
You cannot base it on that paper currency.
But when you hold it, you have it. If anything were to happen to your bank, your banking institution, or even they're talking about the electrical grid going down, and us losing electricity, or these banks going out of business, or being you just wake up and the system is down and you don't have when you hold that metal, it's a barterable, tradable commodity that
we have
can't be affected by
we have literally witnessed thousands of individuals through the years literally grabbing their precious metals and saving life, not only their own families, but in other cases, other situations as well. In various different situations, we have seen people buy houses with their stored precious metal that they've held for 40, 50 years. We've seen people do stuff that they've been, with their metals that they couldn't have done 10 years ago because of the increases. I just want folks to realize this, kind of a closing kind of thought. Silver is basically just sub $60 right now. It's just literally right under 60 at the moment. And to think about that, and to think about, $60 is no chump change amount of money. But gold at one point, was $24 an ounce. And, to have $24 back in the 20s was just an unbelievable amount of money for most people in the world. I would highly suggest that if you've ever thought anything about the precious metals, that you start thinking really, really deeply right now about silver. It's definitely not
a loser, and you're holding it. You have it. It's physical.
Yep.
It you can't get locked out of getting it.
No, it's.
We had a friend that lost over $150,000 in his crypto.
Oh,
wallet.
Yeah. We recently
we had an investor that lost $300,000 in his crypto wallet because he couldn't remember his password.
We've had people who years ago traded in. I had one client that traded in $600,000 of cash currency for buying XRP.
No. He sold his precious metals in and got $600,000 cash, and
that's
then
right.
bought XRP.
Yeah, he
going on?
bought XRP. That's right, and with his silver, and he's regretting every
It
minute
lost
of
50
it.
cents.
Oh God, yeah, no,
just,
it's
anyway,
we're talking
50
about
cents.
we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's down, and he's not very happy. And I've talked to people through the years about their crypto desires and using precious metal as a purchasing agent to get there. And I've always been very hesitant about using that to to buy these very volatile cryptos.
Well, and one thing too about precious metals is if you pass away, it quietly can be moved to the family.
Yeah.
You're not having to get a special document to open up the safety deposit
That
box
is so true.
or to get the money out of the checking or the savings or the investment accounts. It's just quietly moved
Yeah.
to the family members.
We've seen so many situations where there has been a tremendous gain by the individuals, and they may have passed. So this was passed on to family members, where the receiving parties, the survivors, have gained tremendous wealth. I don't know how else to put it, because of it, and
you're
how
quietly purchasing it a little bit at a time. It's building up. It's building up. It's building up. If there's an emergency, you cash out what you need. You take care of your family, and you just continue to be patient with it. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever ordered anything from Alibaba, but you order it, then they build it, and then they put it on a ship, and it takes months to get it,
Right.
depending on what it is that you're buying. But it gets to you eventually,
Right.
and you end up saving money, and hopefully you enjoy whatever it is that you bought. But silver's kind of like that. You just have to be patient, Wait
really
the
do.
2 to 3 months or whatever.
No, like I said before, I mean, we're at $60 silver. The traders have been very adamant lately of keeping it just under $60. So there's something going on there to really take a look at if you're really,
and if you have a financial advisor that is telling you that it's a bad investment, just what your financial situation is and what's wisdom for you, but don't let them talk you out of it, because they don't make any money on you pulling your money out of what they're managing. And so it's a deficit for them. So they're going to fight you on it, or they're going to talk you into getting paper, and papers are not the same as having the physical metal.
Yeah. Hopefully today we've all learned a few things about the amazing metal called silver, number 47 on the element. Today it's at 4,078.20 on gold, and 59.52. Like I said, it's been just sub this $60 number, and it's very obvious that
it's 923 on August 4th.
Yeah, the paper traders just absolutely are hating that $60 range, and so they just are not allowing it. But I'm going to tell you right now that I know that once we get into the fall and this thing is going to start leaping up,
and it does every year. They crash it down in the summer, and then they.
Or it's kind of neutral during the summer is usually what happens, which is exactly what we're dealing with right now. Where we've been in this mid to latter 50s number for quite some time. It feels very much like those days when we were selling metal at between $22 and $25 an ounce forever. And that went on for a decade until it just didn't anymore.
So is your website up and running?
Yeah, so the website's goldorestore.com, which is GOLDORE store at .com. I was about to give my email address too, which is thegoldorestore@gmail.com, by the way. Yes, it is operating. You can actually go in there. You can actually make a purchase. If there's any question about any of the pricing, it seems like it's off or something. We had a few little errors that way, but we should be incredibly close or even better than even the majors that are out there right now as far as price is concerned. So please go check it out. GoldOrStore.com. You can always call us if you'd like, 435-703-9119. We're at 7 North Main Street in downtown St. George, Utah. And
if you need a little bit more information and you want to have a conversation, you can always call our store and make an appointment to come in if you're in our area. We can also do Zoom calls or FaceTime consultations if you're further away. We
Absolutely.
ship all over.
Yep. And, most of our shipping, we don't charge for shipping. It's just something we've always done, unless it's some other kind of circumstance where it would require it for some reason. But,
and we do buy broken gold jewelry and chains and scrap. We buy old coins and currency.
If you're in southern Utah, we'd love it if you'd come see us at the Gold Ore Store. We're at 7 North Main Street, downtown St. George, Utah. It's kind of one of those destination stores that if you are in southern Utah, you really need to come to the Gold Ore Store. It's that unique. And I'm not just saying that. We get, tremendous reviews.
Best of Southern Utah voted.
Best of Southern Utah, 7 years in a row.
Best place to buy a unique gift.
7 years in a row. If you think that's just because, we're like some neutral, not very exciting store, you got another thing coming. You got to come check us out. I mean, people that come to see our store are pretty impressed. That's all I'll say right now.
Well, and we'd love to meet you. Tell us that you saw us on our podcast, or how did you hear about us? Mm-hmm. And
yep, that's about it.
Get out of the heat.
Yeah,
we've got really good air
yeah, we do have
conditioning.
good AC.
I'm usually wearing a sweater.
Well, I'm telling you right now, if you're in southern Utah right now, you're coming to Zion's or any of one of the major national parks. And by the way, we have 6 in our area, which within 50 miles. They're all within 50 miles of St. George. It's something to come see. If you're coming from another country, you've got to come see Zion Park, as well as Bryce Canyon and Cutterlands and all the others that we have down here. They're really quite
there's
incredible.
A lot of silver linings in life. And we wish you the very best of your that you get to enjoy the silver linings in your life.
We look forward to seeing you on our next one, and have a beautiful day.